but definitely she used to speak so highly
I appreciate that.
and tell me how this young man is so bright,
right?
That he can solve any problem. Like he was bright, you know. So put in your rhyme. When you actually do your thing, whatever you draw from, you can still hear that you can read. You know, because most MCs you can hear they like this nigga too ignorant. You feel me? Like, but you can hear that you can read. You can hear the consciousness. You can hear how much sense that you actually make, even if you are spitting your braggadocio type of shit, or you just spitting some regular token, you know, shoot the block. Like you know, so that like I always admired your tenacity. I always admired your level of skill. Because I seen you freestyle top of your head. I heard you spit writtens. I seen you go in battles. I seen you go in different neighborhoods and get love. Or even if you didn't get the love, you just made them niggas love you. Just for your bar and fitting. And a lot of times you would come in alone.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I agree.
A lot of times he would come in alone and he would that microphone and just wow the crowd.
That's crazy, bro. You know what I'm saying?
You know?
We've been at it from a young age.
Crowd.
You know what I mean? I've been at it from a young age.
That was amazing.
God is great.
Just
man.
wow the crowd.
Roses, nigga.
He's amazing.
He's great, you know.
He's very gifted. Very gifted. Very gifted. And he's gonna go far. He's gonna go far. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna go far. Okay, Biggie was the reason why he picked up that pen.
Yeah.
All right. When did you decide that you was going to be able to roast every rapper?
It went in steps, man. Shout out to my man Cash, my man Munchie. You know what I mean? He lived in 575 Ocean Avenue. That's right next to the embassy. My man Munchie from Queensbridge, man. Because at the time before apps and shit, and I wrote down Biggie album and shit. You know what I mean? And in the process of me writing down the album, something clicked. Like, wait a minute, I could do this shit. Like, I seen like the breakdown, like you know, like when you watch The Matrix and then Neo seen the green shit coming down. It's like something that I seen. I seen a breakdown in this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like even when I listen to like to go pull them up on YouTube and read them, because when you read them, you get to see the sense of where a person's at in their mind when they're actually writing the music. You know what I'm saying? The sense of just listening. You know what I'm saying? So it just began. I just began to study music because I've always been a student of music. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I started off singing and doing things like that. So I always wanted to incorporate everything into music. You know what I'm saying? I think that music needs to be infused. You know what I'm saying?
So you were singing? Were you singing in the church?
No, I didn't sing in church. I didn't sing in church. I actually went into a school choir. I actually got into it because my school had performing arts, and salute them because that's where all of my gifts happen. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? That's where everything 246. You know what I'm saying? That's where everything happened. You know what I'm saying? I got to learn about that. My gifts started to come out when I went into that performing arts class, and I started to go into like chorus classes and shit like that. You know what I mean? But then writing, listen, just study all the artists, you know what I'm saying? Just studying the artists, studying the music. I study Biggie, the flows, how you create the flows, flow patterns, you know what I'm saying?
So I want to see if you can still remember your first rhyme that you ever wrote.
Possibly not. But I remember the first I started rapping at first. I wrote a couple of raps, you know what I mean? I caught the bug and I said, fucking, I'm about to start rapping, right? And my man Munchie was in class. We was in 6th grade, right? And Munchie had a whole book full of raps. I swear, Munchie had a book full of raps. Nigga, he write neat. His shit, he write with his left hand and nigga neat. I could read this shit too. Boy, he had a books of raps, yo. So I was like, yo, when I started rapping, I went to Munchie. We was in the lunchroom and shit. I was like, I'm gonna tell a nigga. So when we was at lunch, I was like, yo, son, I'm about to start rapping and shit. And I had rapped, so whatever I had rapped at that time to him. He's like, nah, that shit all right. That shit all right. Just keep going, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And he was one of the people that pushed me to keep going. Like, nah, son, that shit all right. He could have told me because I looked at him like a rapper because he was really rapping. He been rapping for like a year changed now.
Yeah.
This nigga was rapping. He like 12 years old, 11 years old rapping. Got books of rap. Fuck, he was the first nigga I knew with books raps. So, you know what I mean? He was like, yeah, just keep pushing this shit. You know what I mean? And then, yeah, one time a nigga told me my shit was corny. One of them shits. You know what I'm saying? And that was the last time that a nigga told me that my shit was corny. Nigga told me my shit was corny. I remember staying over like, you gotta cook something up right now. I remember I was 12 years old, bro. I was like, yo, I gotta cook something now, nigga. That a nigga never say that, son. Fuck I, son. Nigga said I was corny. I was like, get the fuck out of here, yo. Munchie said my shit was all right.
And
I wrote a song called Gun Wars. I wrote a song called Gun Wars.
Do you still feel the same way? Do you still
That was the first song.
For music as you did back then?
Do I do what?
I said, do you still feel the same? Do you still have the same feeling for music as you had
back then? Then music, I have been in music, but music is like a love-hate thing, man. I've been in a deep relationship with music for a long time, man. But you know, it's coming from the beginning in music, you know what I'm saying? I think that the young me in music, the new me, I do music, but I just think the young me just paid attention to so much little technical things. I would sit and write like pages of metaphors. I would just write metaphors. Besides raps that I would write, I would just write pages of metaphors that I could just take and just rhyme and put them into rap. So with metaphors, similes, puns, double entendres, and all of those things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm big on those type of things and rappers that rap with those kinds of things.
All right. So do you feel like what you learned in school as far as English, you know, English literature and stuff like that, did that shape your writing ability?
You know, at the end of the day, really in school, like my English teacher, shout out to her. She was good and she was bad. She was my baddest teacher. She was a beautiful woman. But you know what I mean? That's a fact. But you know what I mean? She was very stern. She was very, very stern. But I didn't really learn the things that I learned like in English in school. You know what I'm saying? When I began to do music, I learned about what metaphor is and how to create metaphors and what a simile was. How a simile is different from a metaphor. A metaphor, like a simile is when you use like and as or more than. It's when you compare two things, but you lose like, as, and that's a simile. And when you use a metaphor is when you're comparing two things that really don't correlate or relate, but they kind of do, and you make them into a metaphor without using like, as, or more than. That's a metaphor and different things like that. So I learned that just by rapping, actually. I learned more about rapping. It's crazy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's dope. That's dope. That's dope. That's dope. That's dope, man. So, young boy, you still remember your first rhyme?
Damn. Don't remember my first rhyme.
That's a minute ago, bro, right?
Nah.
I remember the song. I remember I wrote a song about guns.
I first wrote my first rap when I was 14 years old with my cousin Chris. I remember that show. It was yesterday because we both lived in the same apartment complex. I lived upstairs and my aunt lived downstairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. So, do you feel like your upbringing shaped your music?
Most definitely perform. I feel like whatever I ever wrote, I wanted to be like whatever it may be, how my day was or how whatever I was feeling at the moment or what news I just got, because you know a lot of shit was happening so quick, and you know I just always went off the vibes of that. And what inspired me even more was just a storytelling from a lot of different artists. One, Tupac, Biggie. Biggie is an amazing storyteller. Damn. A lot of great DMX.